Hey yo, what up? It's Mr. Kardinal Offishall. You already know how it goes, straight for the T.O. Producer, rapper, Senior VP of the Streets, or SVP of A&R for Universal Music Canada, philanthropist, and everything in between. Yeah, I mean. This is the Free the City Music Festival that I put on. It's the first of its kind. You know, towards the end of the pandemic, myself, a lot of my friends, colleagues within the business, it just felt like we were all drained, you know, like we've all had enough. Initially, this was supposed to be part of a 20-year celebration of one of my albums, the Firestarter Volume 1 album.
But that, you know, that 20-year journey, similar, like look at where we are now in that notion of engagement. Talk about the difference of being an artist 20 years ago and coming out into the world to what you're doing and how you are as an artist now, but also how you're helping new artists now.
I think the entire industry was a lot more curated than it is now. And then also we had, as artists and creatives, we had a lot less access. There weren't as many platforms that were readily available to us. So outside of college radio, maybe a little mainstream radio, you would have institutions like Much Music. And that was one of the only ways that we had to get our music out nationally. And on top of that, it filtered out 99% of the working musician class. There were so many people that were starving artists that were trying to get on, and you had to go those ways in order to see success. The difference is, shifting to 20 years later, there is a million times more noise. There's like, you know, I think the stats are like there's like 400,000 new songs that come out each week compared to maybe, you know, a couple thousand a year that came out 20 years ago. So when you think about that, yes, now we have so much more access, but how do you cut through the noise? It's so much more difficult to be unique and to be appreciated and to be loved. And back then you were fighting for people's money. So for me to be successful, it was all about record sales. It was very transactional. Now we're fighting for people's time. Now there's kind of an economic blanket that's around the music industry, if you will. If you think about Apple Music or Spotify or Amazon or any one of these services, you're just paying a monthly subscription. So we all have access to everything, but what it is, it's time. So if there's a million albums that are coming out, well, which one of those albums is gonna get my time? That's why you're seeing artists being converted into brands. It's not just about music. Now it's about the music. It's about how you look, what you stand for. Are you a philanthropist? Are you a businessman? All these different things are what the fans are buying into, and that's, I think, what's getting the most support is those people that have something interesting to offer besides their music.
And you now also, as a music executive, when you are working with young people, how are those pathways coming? Because there is so much opportunity, but time is the key. What are you now as a music executive doing to help artists understand that they are not just musicians, but a brand and a celebrity and a storyteller?
Well, you see, it's kind of unfair to artists. Not everybody is an entrepreneur. It's very difficult right now to put a lot of weight on the artist, but they're growing up in a time where that is the norm. What we're doing is mentoring a lot more, educating a lot more. When I first started and when I got my deal, it's kind of like you signed the deal and you had different departments that did things for you. Whereas now, the label is looking to the artist for the direction. But we're able to amplify, we're able to help promote. So the thing is, there's a lot of learning, I think, on both sides, because every artist that comes in, you know, they're an entity unto themselves. So I think what we have to do right now, why it's very difficult in terms of being an executive, but very rewarding at the same time, is making sure that we can identify what is what and what mechanism works best with which artist. And I think that's, you know, in terms of combination of commerce, technology, and artistry, that is what really equals success, is when you figure out those three things and be able to mesh them together perfectly, that's when you see the most success, I think, from the world's leading artists.